Hello, I am the gaming superhero. Today I am making a kit for the hero more powerful than all the Avengers rolled into one. And it is going to get super crazy. This might be the most complicated character I've ever made. Not so much in you need to hit a lot of buttons, but definitely in you have to constantly check what the buttons do. So you'll see. Also, shout out Jack and Dex for guessing correctly that it was Sentry on Bluesky. Woohoo! For some reason, I can only get people who are running accounts based off of fictional characters to respond to me on that app. First it was Dobby the Elf, now it's Jack and Daxter. It's a weird pattern, but hey, I'm not mad. But first, we must go over his first appearance. We open with a man being awakened by a large kaboom, knowing there is more to the sound than just the storm, but doesn't say anything to the woman he is sleeping with. He goes downstairs to get a potion from a book, thinking about how he is the only hope against the void. We then intercut the present with a classic-style comic going over his origin story of being a stupid child that just drinks mystery chemicals from a test tube. Luckily, he gets superpowers and doesn't die immediately. He punches a guy to immediately get the girl and makes himself a suit because real men sew in the army. After a few more flashes to the old days, we then see a Frank Miller Dark Knight inspired Sentry who is getting shot up with some kind of drug. In the present, he starts making a device that will defeat the void forever, but first he's got to get a hit of that good shit, and unsurprisingly, he immediately starts tripping. Then his girlfriend or wife, I'm not really sure, come out and is horrified to see he's drinking again. Also that he kicked the fucking dog like the piece of shit he is. But he doesn't care about her, he has a job to do, so he dons his glorious supersuit and flies off into the night to battle the void. That ends his first appearance, and it's pretty good. Definitely more comedic than I think was intended, but hey, still a fun read. I have made him a tank with a primary fire of laser eyes that deal solid beam damage similar to Emma Frost, but it goes much further because he has free flight like Iron Man or Human Torch. But now is a good time to mention the thing that makes Sentry so complicated, and that is that every time he does damage or uses abilities, he builds up a meter, the void meter, and the more it is filled, the more he becomes the void. This can either completely change how abilities work or just change the effects of some abilities. So example would be his primary fire. When the void meter is filled enough, it changes to a melee attack where he will shoot out like little sharp tentacle things similar to Venom's primary fire that will deal damage to enemies. He also has a movement ability where he dashes 3 times in any direction you choose. It can be, up, down, left, or right, being able to change direction for each dash. The dashes also leave a speed trail that will block damage for a few seconds while they are up. When voided, the dashes will deal damage as well as the trails if anyone stands in them. They do lose the damage blocking property though. His passive is the whole turning into the void over time thing. Ability 1 is Molecular Landing. Crash down like Human Torch and create an area of effect that slows enemies. The void effect just causes the area effect to deal damage. And I mean deal damage to anyone in the field that isn't Sentry, including allies. I wanted the void to feel like an evil force, so I gave him some negative effects for teammates. I did try to limit it though, to avoid annoying griefers. So void melee primary fire doesn't deal damage to allies, nor does the initial dashes from his movement ability. The trails will hurt allies, but that's their own fault at that point. Ability 2 is Radiant. Deploy a field around Sentry that decreases the damage taken of him and allies within the field. The Void version increases the damage taken of everyone in the field except Sentry, who gets to deal bonus damage. Once again, yes, allies suffer from the debuff the Void gives, but he can't attack allies directly. His ultimate is Final Battle, where Sentry and Void fight, creating a big area of effect that has 2 modes. The light mode of Sentry that negates all damage for allies, and a dark mode that damages anyone in the field. You cannot choose which mode you're in, it will automatically change from one to the other every few seconds. So if you can get the timing down, you can really max out the benefits of going from allies to enemies. Sentry himself is just invulnerable during the ult. The ult also resets Sentry's void meter. He would need to build it up again for all those sweet team kill abilities. No team up. I couldn't think of anyone that would really have a cool team up. Plus, with how complicated he already is, it just didn't seem like a good idea. And that is how I would add the Golden Guardian of Good to Marvel Rivals. Really happy with this one. Very much trusting that most people would value winning over trolling with this kit, because it is very easy to screw over your team. I feel it is important for making the Void feel like a negative force, but I am open to having abilities be less effective towards, allies than enemies. Still taking damage, just less than like 100% of it. I also imagine each ability changing into its void counterpart at different levels of the void meter being filled. Before I forget, dying also resets the void meter. I didn't mention that before, and that is an important thing about this, how this whole thing works. Dying does reset it, as well as just not doing damage or using abilities for a certain amount of time. It will slowly go down. So it's not just like an always on thing. You do need to work to get these void abilities. I think the last ability to change into its void counterpart should actually be the primary fire, because that very much signifies fully succumbing to the void, as well as Sentry himself changing visually as the meter fills with full void, looking like the movie with him just being a black silhouette, with there just being different levels of being consumed. So from his feet upwards, just start becoming more and more just pure black. Instead of, having it be like a HUD element, you can just look to see how much of Sentry is covered in darkness. It also helps other people in the match keep track of what level Sentry is at to plan for counters, and just so, allies can be more aware to stay a bit further away whenever he uses stuff. But yes, add this to the list of kits I'm sad aren't in the game. Been a while since I mentioned it. Sentry ended up being much more interesting to make a kit for than expected, because I've always been told he was just like a Superman equivalent. But no. He has a much crazier power set than that. He can just manipulate reality, and then that really opening the door for crazy implementation. He's like if Superman also had the powers of Adam Eve from Invincible. He can just manipulate matter on an atomic level and is indestructible with super strength and just all the Superman stuff. He's insane. It's crazy. So yeah, that's why he's a tank. He's very tough. Remember, 100 subscribers for the Discord. We are literally one away as I am recording this. Maybe we've probably crossed the threshold when this video is out. I'm last minute checking right now. It's still at 99, on the line. We've probably already made it by the time this video is out. But yeah, Discord is gonna have a bunch of cool shit. We're gonna be able to discuss the game, get more in depth on just a bunch of stuff. It's gonna be super cool, guys. And tell me who you want me to make next, and what you would have done differently for Sentry/Void. And by I mean make next, I don't mean next week. It's just gonna be who you want me to do. It's not gonna be the very next thing I do, but future. It's gonna be one of the future ones I do. And you're welcome for something I can't remember.